Hello everyone, today we're doing a solo Grandmaster run Hypernet with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Night Stalker with Tether. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using the Stasis Glaive with Chill Clip for this season. Next, I'll be using an exotic Lemon Arc. For my heavy, I'll be using a linear fusion rifle with reconstruction. For my exotic graviton forfeit. This week I decided to go for the Hunter. And the reason why is, well, because I'm trying to organize my Titan and Warlock for next season. And pretty much the Hunter I haven't really touched so much. So I wanted to try out the Stasis Glaive. And there are actually some tiny changes, which I will talk about very soon. But I am going to skip a bunch of ads. I mean, why not? We're on Invis. Let's just take advantage of it. Let's just enjoy it until next season. I mean, look at that. I could just go turn invisible infinitely for now, for this season-ish. Then I can go and deal with Unstoppable Champions. So I am going to pop a glaive to take down these cabals, these enemies, so I can go for the mini cheese, or I like to call it the shortcut. Now this is RNG of where the Unstoppable Champions will spawn, but I like to shoot down the turrets because of the aim assist. Okay, the flinch will not let me take down the Unstoppable Champions fast enough. I'm just too slow, let's just be honest. Alright, I have to take down this Unstoppable Champion. And then there's one up there hanging around with the other Cabals and Minotaur. Hopefully he'll cooperate with me and maybe I can take him down from far distance. I really hope so. I'm praying for the bungee. Please, just stand there and let me just go and stagger and use linear fusion rifle with particle reconstruction to debuff and do DPS at the boss. Now with the flinch nightmare and the grenades, I'm gonna get the bungee out of here and go to the shortcut. Yes, I am using Amplify. You don't need Amplify for the shortcut. I like to go on this platform where it has the most sparkles. Yes, I dare say it. The one where it has a lot of sparkles. Then I jump to the next platform and I kind of miss up my jump there. And then we're gonna take down the turrets. And it's just gonna be a fun Grandmaster for this season. Even though it's a little bit slow, I'm gonna put it a nice way, we're still gonna get this run done. So I am gonna be chaining with the Arc Orb so I can do more DPS as a Tormentor. So no ad spawn, but you need to push up so you can have the ad spawn, and that's when you need to take down the enemies. Now, I was trying to do as much damage to the Tormentor to skip one Unstoppable Champion and deal with one, but unfortunately, it didn't work for me. I wasn't doing enough damage or precision shots with the Arc Orb. And because of that, and I wasn't really focusing too much, because in my mind, I was just wanting to get it done so I can focus on other stuff to prepare for the big DLC. I missed one champion. So oopsie, I made a bungees. My bad. So when you are not doing enough damage to the Tormentor, you will get an additional Unstoppable Champion. So that's why I got gold for this run. I mean, I did get plat on my test run, but I didn't record the controller. See, that was the problem. So, I had to choose controller, commentary, or with no controller with platinum. Decisions. Which one shall I choose? Once I clear down the enemies on top of the platform, I use Tether. I mean, you could save your Tether for the Tormentor so you could do more damage. You could do that. See, for me, I just decided to just use my Tether. Why not? Plus, I'm going to have my super while using the Arc Orb, which I didn't really pay attention to much. Maybe I should have used my super if I had it, if I got my precision shots right. So we're going to play Metal Gear Solid. I'm going to shoot the shoulders. He's going to go psychopathic mode. Hello, Tormentor. We have met from Liminality-ish. So hopefully he can cooperate with me. I keep missing my shots. Darn it, my controller. Anyway, it's my fault. On my last run, my test run, I did way more damage than this footage. But it's okay, you know, no one's perfect. So we're gonna deal with Unstoppable Champion, but just remember, when you are not doing enough damage to the Tormentor, you're gonna have another Unstoppable Champion that will spawn, which I didn't really, like I said, focus too much of it. Because I was so used to skipping the Unstoppable Champion, I forgot about it. So make sure you take down the Unstoppable Champion on the opposite platform. Little mistakes happen. I'm not a perfect person. You know, I'm not perfect. And now someone may comment, why not go to the other side to do DPS? Yeah, about that. See, if I was on Prismatic Hunter, I guess, or in a subclass build where I can protect myself. See, that Void there, it just does a lot of damage on a Void subclass. I don't know why. It's just so weird. Because when I was testing this on my Titan, it was just easy and a breeze off or a brush off of the shoulder for the Titan. Let's just pretend I'm going on a Titan. I will go the opposite side. And it was just really awkward of standing on that spot. For me, everyone's different. But if you don't like the spot I'm standing, you can go to the opposite side where we were playing Metal Gear Solid. And you could do DPS at Tormentor. But we warn you, the defense of the Void Hunter is yikes. Unless you can build up the recovery for the Hunter, then you're good to go. But to be honest, it's just a lot of work. Now we're gonna go to the next objective. And there are more changes. And you cannot believe this. I cannot even believe the Bungie they did this. So remember those Unstoppable Champions? Remember they buff these Unstoppable Champions where you can't even shoot them with a glaive. You have to shoot the foot or the elbow of the Unstoppable Champion. They actually changed it back to the old Unstoppable Champions. Now they're the ones with the tiny shields. You can see the animation walk is very different. They're not hiding their head behind the shield. So they revert the Unstoppable Champions back to this one. And it's good. I like it. I really don't like the new update on Unstoppable Champions. I think it's not fair, in my honest opinion. Especially if you're using a glaive. If you're using a glaive with the other champion, with the big shield and covering his precision shots, it's a nightmare. Because you have to go behind it or shoot the foot. Sometimes they even block the foot. Or the blast of the glaive just doesn't shoot the foot. And it's just frustrating to the point where you have to switch to a fusion rifle. Or better yet, you could use a sidearm, stasis sidearm with chill clip for this season. So that's one thing that kind of bugged me about the buff of the Unstoppable Champions. And I have a feeling in my conspiracy, I hope I am wrong. I don't want to be right, because it's every time I'm right, it's always something bad. I'm hoping they're not going to upgrade more of these champions to make it more hard to do DPS. Because why I had to do more work of staggering a champion with a glaive or a certain weapon that we're forced to use for artifact to stagger unstoppable champions. It's just an example. It should be easy when it is chosen to stagger unstoppable champions, for example. And I don't like going behind it or shooting the foot. I mean, yes, it is quite hilarious to shoot the foot for Light Blade for the cheese spot. Yes, I understand that. But I'm talking about champions, not the boss. Boss is different. It is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Once we take down the unstoppable champions, we're gonna go and just take down this Minotaur. We're gonna pick up the Arc Cranium, or I like to call it the Arc Orb. You know, you can also use this orb to do DPS, to shoot enemies with your Kai Blast Arc, and you can get your super as well. Now, because I keep forgetting I'm on Hunter, you know, sometimes I forget I'm on Hunter. Sometimes I forget I have infinite invis. I sometimes forget I have invis Hunter. So if you have invis build like me, like this one, you could just spam invis and then just keep shooting the orbs with the taken blights. And then you could skip all these ads and save time. And that's maybe what I should have done in the very beginning for this section. So I was just looking left and right. Is everything good? I think we got everything. Now I'm gonna shoot this blight so we can have all these blights not shoot you when you are going for your Sparrow. Now I'm just trying to shoot the taken thralls or the goblins so they don't mess me up when I get off my Sparrow. So there we go. I think everything's good. Just double checking. And we're just gonna go Sparrow away. We're gonna play Mario Kart. The Guardian going Mario Kart around the loop. Can I make jokes about Mario Kart? Now, when I was a kid, I used to sing and play that Mario Kart game where you turn into a bomb and then you have to go to a player so that you can one-shot them. I used to sing when I was a kid and say, I'ma let the bomb driving to the highway. But that's what I did when I was a kid. But yeah, we're just having a chit-chat. Because basically, you just have to Sparrow your way. I mean, yeah, you can go to shortcuts. I know that. But let's just relax for a bit. Because now we have to deal with more Overload champions. And we could take advantage of the Arc Orb. You can also use the Arc Orb to shoot the taken mini blights. They do a lot of damage, not as much compared to the old version. The old version, they had these snipers that one-shot you. Now they turn into stasis. So just a heads up, anyone's curious about the old version of Hypernet. The old version was way more difficult than this version. I know, I've been there. It's horrible. And these snipers never shot stasis. They were snipers. One shot. The glitch, just like birthplace of the Vile. Remember the glitches of the snipers. The same thing they had, that issue on the old version. Now it's easier to take down these overload champions, also an artifact power. You know, the power that we have also does damage as well, and you have more resilience for this season since they are gonna do some changes for next season with the resilience and all this goody stuff. So mobility, weapon, stat, and intellect super. Oh boy, can't wait for that. Everyone's excited to regrind it. Actually, Blitz, I'm not really excited. No. Ignore the Guardian Troll. Ignore her. But Blitz, it sucked. No. No negativity. Positivity always wins. Positivity always wins. So don't worry. Ignore that Guardian Troll. So we're going to take down the Overload goblins. There are snipers up ahead. There is also a cool shortcut you can go on Titan. Maybe I might redo it for a Titan run. I'm not sure because I had to prepare for the next DLC. That's why I haven't really made a lot of videos because I'm just trying to prepare for my characters, and my Warlock and Titan are they're kind of taking a break because I had to organize their armor and delete some stuff, weapons, armor, and all that goody stuff. Also, because my vault space is 690 out of 700, so you already know it's a mess. That's why I haven't made a lot of videos. Need to organize a lot of stuff for Destiny. There are snipers up ahead, and there are these blights shooting left and right infinitely. Don't you wish you could just shoot them just like the Sunless Cell? Wouldn't that be a cool perk to do? But anyway, we could just go stroll around on Hunter. And then we're gonna have ads that spawn and overload champions. So we're gonna take down a Minotaur and we're gonna pick up the orb. I'm gonna get the bungee out of here. I mean, look at this Minotaur. I'm gonna do ballerina twirls. If anyone's wondering, what is the finisher, Blitz? It is the finisher, the dawning. It is the finisher you can get from the dawning. And I forgot the name. So we're gonna go on this mini shortcut. Let's call it the shortcut, or maybe you can call it the cheese. You know, I want to take down the overload champions from this spot. I mean, look at that. You could just go and have bold charge, take down the Blights, take down the overload champions, and they don't even need to snipe you. Now, they do shoot stasis, right? The old version, they were snipers. The new version, they just shoot stasis, they slow you down. So it's no big deal. So I'm going to turn invisible again. I mean, why not take advantage of it? I mean, it's there, and my bad for that. See, on the old version, that would have one-shot me and take me back to orbit. The old version. I already know that for a fact. When that Blight hit me on the old version, that's it, done. Start all over again, you waste, I would say, 25 minutes of your life. I mean, I know now I'm doing 60 minutes around here. I could have done better, but just a heads up on the old version. For players who never played it, very harsh with the Blights. They nerfed it, or either that or the power. The artifact power is just so strong that I have high resilience. So once we hit around 38%, we're going to have these taken ogres spawn. And may I dare say, sometimes I get the worst luck and get a Drainbane. Even double ogre Drainbane. That's one of the reasons why I want to stand on top of this taken Blight. One, it doesn't damage me. Two, the ogres can't push me off. Well, they could push you off, by the way, if you're not too careful. But other than that, it's a really sweet spot. Just be a little careful. And it's I would say a 20% chance that the ogre could try to push you off on that mini cheese spot. It has happened to me accidentally, but just giving a heads up. In case it happens to you, I don't want you to comment and say, Blitz, it pushed me off. You said it was a secure cheese spot. It is, but 20% chance they could try to push you off, which is why I highly recommend take them down as fast as you can. We're gonna go pick up the Arcranium and we're gonna go for the boss fight. So during the DPS, I am gonna do a mini time skip here and there because let's just be honest, Lemonarch DPS is not the best. I mean, it's not the fastest, highest DPS ever. I don't want to drag the Guardians on my DPS phase for this footage, so I am going to make things easier for me and for you. So I'm going to play hide and seek, hide and go bungee. I'm going to go hide behind this boss so he can't see me. I'm going to tether, and I'm just going to use the Arcranium or the Arc Orb. Now what I could have done is I could have dropped the orb and used my Stasis Glaive to stagger the champion. I wasn't really too much of taking it too seriously. I mean, yeah, I did mess up, but anyway, let me just show you what happens when you mess up. Why not? So make sure you use your Stasis Glaive to stagger the champion, and then you pick up the Arcranium. This is of what if it didn't work out, and what if you mess up? Because most of the players, especially going for their first solo run, most of them are not going to get it right to the point where the Sparrow champion is walking towards them, and then we have all these taken cabals just shooting orbs of death towards you. So when this happens, you need to take your time, use your glaive, use the glaive to protect yourself. Use the glaive to protect yourself when dealing with the Blights tracking you, because the Blights can't hurt you when you are on your glade bubble. Also, if you're on Titan, similar thing as well. Anyway, we're gonna do DPS at the boss, and what I did for this footage is I just used all my linear fusion rifle to do DPS at the boss. Now, if I was on Titan, I could do the lazy way, and for me, I would just do the bolt charge behind the barricade, trick the boss. You know, say, hello, I'm up here on the ceiling. Oh, not here. And I would make the boss just shoot his blight on top of the roof platform. And I would just keep doing the bolt charge with Lemon Arc, for example. And basically, that's what I would do. And of course, I would Thunder Crash the boss as well to do more DPS. So I'm just gonna go left and right. And then just do DPS. It is pretty slow because, well, Lemon Arc doesn't do a lot of damage. I mean, it can with other builds, but for now, I am just gonna spam linear. If I don't have any linear, I just go and spam the exotic bow, Lemon Arc. So I'm gonna do a mini time skip here. This may take a while. Once I spam Lemon Arc and waste all my ammo. Now we got all these taken blights. We got the boss focusing on me. Then he's gonna focus on the Vex. So now we're gonna manipulate the ads where we're gonna try to pick up one arc orb. And we're gonna hope that the boss cooperates and focuses on the Vex goblins. So once I take down one of the minotaurs, I'm going to grab one of the orbs and then just take down certain blights. Now I'm trying to remember how many blights I need to shoot to make the boss teleport on this spot behind me in the middle back of the map. So I think it's around 4 taken blights. And that's when the boss is going to teleport back. That way you can take your time, taking down all the taken thralls. And pretty much you can get ready for the next DPS phase. So I'm going to shoot some of the minotaurs and get some arc cranium. Another thing I could have done over here is I could have just used my weapons to shoot the blight so I can save more arc cranium to do more DPS to the boss. I wasn't really too much thinking of how fast I can get this done, but it's just another method I could have done so I can grab more arc orbs and do the high DPS way more faster at the second phase. We're not at the second phase yet. I'm just trying to take all the blights and all these enemies, like these banes. Now I'm going to take down these taken thralls. And the reason why is because I need to take down the Overload champion, and they're going to mess up my DPS with the flinch and with the aim assist, making my, well, I would say my Lemon Arc or Arc Cranium shoot at them instead of the Overload champion. I don't really want that to happen. It just wouldn't be a fun experience for me. Everyone's different. Now I'm going to take down this Minotaur. I'm trying to remember. I think during the last phase I had a Drain Bane. I think. I don't remember because I was practicing this run on my test runs just to double check if this build will work. Because my plan B was to switch to a Prismatic Hunter or a Arc Hunter. That was my plan B if anyone's wondering like what subclass I would have used. Probably an Arc Hunter or Prismatic, just spam ability as much as I can before the next DLC. And enjoy it while I can. So now I'm going to shoot the last Blight. I'm going to stand on this spot for the Hunter. For the Warlock and for the Titan, I would stand a little bit more closer. But here is a really nice sweet spot. I prefer here. You must take down the Overload champion as fast as you can, if you can. If not, you have to pull back, take down the Hobgoblins, the ones that are the snipers. And then hopefully the Overload champion will cooperate with you. And then that's when you could take down the champion. But make sure you take down the snipers. My bad for that. See, if I was on Warlock and Titan, I would have just went to my... Well, I would have went back to orbit. And don't forget that during this phase, this is when the Blights are following you. Of course, if you are on Titan, it's whatevers, because you can easily outrun the Blights. And you don't even need to shoot them so much. Compared for the Hunter, it is a bit of a pain because you have to consistently shoot the Blights. Or you could use your glaive as well to protect yourself from the Blights, which I haven't really used it so much for this footage. But I could have gone for that method if the Blights were a nuisance and it was bothering me for my DPS. When you're using the arc, once you clear down the ads, you can do DPS and you can get your super. See, if I was on Titan, I would just go for Thunder Crash and do a lot of damage and skip this phase. Well, do as much DPS as I can. And may I remind you, there are glitches where the Blights just stand in one little spot. But then there's a glitch of sometimes they just move the last minute. And then that's when they try to mess up your run. Like you can see right there, there's a glitch. There's that Blight standing there like a trap, thinking, should I glitch or just fade out? Glitch or fade out? That is the question. You can also shoot these Blights with the Arc Cranium as well, or the Arc Orb if they are a nuisance of messing up your DPS. But yeah, pretty much this is the DPS phase, and it is very, I would say, it's okay. I mean, you can use your Arc Cranium to do DPS. It's just that jumping back and forth can be annoying on Hunter. I'm so used to just running back and forth on a Titan. And same for Warlock. It's a bit different. The movement for Hunter is very different than for the Warlock and Titan. Completely different. You really have to be careful with the Blight, especially if you have weapons that are not fast enough to take down the Blights. Like right now, you can see these Blights are pretty much can follow you. Now the good news is that they nerfed the Blights. So on the old version, yes, I'm going to talk about the old version. The old version, these Blights, they track you way more faster than this version. So they did nerf a bit of the Blight tracking of death. Happy day for us. Because I swear, these Blights spawn way more faster than the old version. I mean, than the new version. So if you want this DPS to go faster, just make sure you shoot down the Blights. But anyway, just keep using your linear fusion rifle and the boss will behave. And you can also use the bow to take down the Blights as well. I was just going back and forth, you know, I keep forgetting I'm on Hunter, not on Titan, so my bad for that. We are at the last phase. I used all my weapons. I used the bow. I was trying to find some good spots for the Hunter. And now we're going to go for the next phase very soon. And maybe I should have used my glaive since it could protect myself from the Blights. I was forgetting about it. This is the third phase of the boss fight. Now I am going to try my best to leave one of the Minotaurs. Okay, we're going to name it Bungie. Alright, so we're going to have one Bungie to protect us, or to be bait for the boss to keep shooting and shooting while we can take down the boss during the third phase. Now, first things first, take down as much enemies as you can, leave some of the hobgoblins, and pick up the Arcanium. And of course, there is a Drainbane. So my plans kind of got messed up. So here was my plan. I want to take down the Minotaur from the right side, but because there's a Drainbane, yes, a Drainbane. Unfortunately, no bad luck. You know I hate Drainbanes. Why is this tether longer than a Void Hunter? I'm on a Void Hunter right now, and this guy's tether is more longer than a hunter tether. So you know what that means? That means they need to nerf the drainers. They need to buff the void hunters, the void super. I don't think it's fair that a drain bane, an itty bitty bane, it's not fair that the tether is longer and stronger than the hunter. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I'm trying to figure out right now. How does that even make any sense? Can someone please explain to me why a drainer tether better and longer, stronger than a hunter? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I am going to shoot down all the blights except one. Make sure you leave one near the platform wall from the right side, because that's when we're going to do DPS and try our best to take down the unstoppable champion when it does spawn. So to have the next ad spawn and a champion, you need to shoot down all the blights, but we're going to leave one so we can have time to take down the surrounding ads. That's basically the plan I'm going for. Everyone's different. Some may say take down all the blights and then just focus at the boss and take down the champion last. Everyone's different. Now I'm going to do a different method where we're going to go take down all the ads, yay, except the Vex. And we're going to go and tether, make a trap. We're going to shoot the last blight. And remember, try your best to use the glaive to stagger the champion. Sometimes I don't see the champion where I just want to take down all these ads and then take down a champion last. Like, everyone's different. It is annoying to stand on that spot on Hunter because you don't have anything to protect yourself besides the glaive. So once I take down all the ads, then I'm going to bungee back. Alright, I'm going to pull back. And then I'm just going to focus at the boss. So now it's just me and the boss and Bungie. Yes, Bungie is actually helping me for this boss fight. And what is Bungie doing for this footage? Well, he's being bait. Bungie's being bait for the boss. It makes life easier. Now, what I could have done over here is maybe I should have stayed here instead of going all the way back. There were some weird glitches with the blight tracking. Like, just glitching and then just trying to one-shot me. Maybe because I was spamming invis, I'm not sure. But make sure you take down the blights while doing DPS during this phase. Because they're just very glitchy at this phase. I don't know why. They just float underground sometimes. And I just don't see them, but I hear them. You know, I was hearing them and then they almost one-shot me. So just be very careful with the blights and try your best to shoot them down when you see them. Just stop DPS, just shoot them with Lemon Arc. Try to, or use the glaive. Because they're just very glitchy. I don't think it's worth of ignoring it during this phase. Like, I ignored one. See? I messed up. So make sure you take down the blights and then do DPS. I mean, this guy is behaving. Another thing I could have done is maybe I should have went on top of the platform to do DPS as well. So that was another thing I could have done. You can also turn invisible the dodge to avoid the blights as well, which I was pretty much doing for the second boss DPS. And it worked out pretty great. I mean, it's not that bad. Not that bad. The smoke, when you are using the smoke invis, for some reason, sometimes the blights can follow you even though you're invisible for the smoke invis, the melee invis. Sometimes change the mechanics for the smoke invis versus the ability invis. Both invis is very different. And yes, the blights just pop out of nowhere. So just be very careful with the blights. Make sure you shoot them and, you know, make sure you do DPS. And maybe I should have just done DPS on top of the platform instead of the floor. So my mistake for that. Alright. So I did skip one champion at the Tormentor by mistake. But let's just pretend we get platinum. So we got platinum rank, you know, my bad for that, if anyone's wondering. And we defeated the boss. Yay. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.